With our stunning collection of fine jewelry, gemstones, pearls and diamonds, fine pieces in timeless designs and unspoken elegance. Al Siraj Jewelry, our story, our pride.
വിഷമിക്കണ്ട, എല്ലാം ശരിയാവും.
ലുലു മണി സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം.
The exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain. With over a decade of existence in Bahrain, exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 3909-6845, 3909-4806, 3885-2397, or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com. Since 2006, Magnum Imprint have been offering high standards of quality with our professional team that delivers all your advertising and promotional requirements efficiently and promptly. For more details, please contact 39887088 or 33856330 or 33542530.
A woman who believes in the strength of working together. A devout advocate of the Indian science of Ayurveda, Tracy Burrows. A certified yoga health coach, Ms. Burrows trains people in simple habits that help them maintain their physical, emotional, and spiritual health by integrating self-care habits from yoga and Ayurveda into their modern lifestyle. Ms. Burrows' love affair with India, Ayurveda and yoga began with her visit to a Kerala ashram in 2013, which she describes as a game-changing, life-changing experience. Her repeated visit to the place helped her train for the first certification in Ayurveda, which she calls Grandma's Ayurveda. Over the years, she also qualified in different healing techniques including aromatherapy, massage, reflexology and Reiki, to name a few. Among the programs which Ms. Burrows offer in Bahrain are the Thrive for Life, an Ayurvedic self-care program, Om Yoga, and the Menopause Masterclass. Making a move to help others gives one with the magic of well-being and happiness, says the British national who resides in Bahrain with her husband. One with an attitude of gratitude, Ms. Burrows says she meditates daily to remember all of those who guide, teach, and support her in pursuing her life purpose and to make her dreams come real. Tonight with us on Success Statements from BMC Global Life, a show which features people who make a difference, it is Tracy Burrows, an inspirational campaigner of Ayurveda, a natural system of medicine which is believed to have originated in India more than 3,000 years ago.
There are certain things which are never out of fashion. Yes, they are ever in trend. One such is nature. A woman who believes in the rhythm of nature and the way the system in our body is synchronized to these external cosmic rhythms. Yoga health coach and Ayurveda expert Tracy Burrows joining us on Success Statements from BMC Global Life. Good evening, Tracy. Welcome to the show.
Good evening. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Indeed, it's an honor for us to have you with us. And Ayurveda, something which is very close to the heart of every Indian, maybe?
Yes, I hope so.
And it's so beautiful to have a person with me this evening who is so much attached to this genre. So this evening, let's hear from you for an hour, Let's hear from you as to what took you to Ayurveda and some beautiful tips that you can offer to our viewers. And let's talk about the prominence that the genre is gaining, especially post-pandemic, which would be of real interest. Okay?
Yes.
Success Statements is a show which features people who make a difference. And Tracy, I believe that you have made a difference out there to many. And let's go through some of those examples as well. Once again, welcome.
Thank you.
And let me begin with this question. What took you to Ayurveda?
It was yoga that took me to Ayurveda.
Okay.
And yoga is often called the sister science to Ayurveda, or Ayurveda is often called the sister science to yoga.
Okay.
The two go hand in hand, and they come from the same source. When you put them together, you have a very comprehensive and well-rounded system of all over health. And actually, it was a complete accident that I came across Ayurveda. I had already decided that I needed to have something else beyond yoga, because I noticed that a lot of the people who were coming for yoga when I was teaching yoga, they were not okay. And of course, they would come for an hour or an hour and a half, and they would feel better at the end of that. And then I would wave goodbye until next week. And I really felt this desire to be able to give them something so that they could help themselves in between the yoga sessions. And so it was on a trip to the ashram that I was visiting in Kerala about 7 years ago that I always say Ayurveda discovered me. I don't think I could say I discovered Ayurveda, but Ayurveda discovered me. I had a chance meeting with a Vaidya, an Ayurvedic healer, and that was my introduction, the start of my journey. I was fascinated after that very short meeting. I wanted to know more. And so shortly after that, I went back to the same ashram in Kerala and I started my journey, my first foundational training in Ayurveda with an Ayurvedic doctor, Dr. Binoy.
All right. Okay. I like the way that you said that Ayurveda discovered you, indeed. And, though we know about Ayurveda, and even people in India, they feel Ayurveda is very rigid with its customary diet, or, I'm not a personal, Ayurveda is not my personal favorite. Sometimes the taste of the medicines or those strict, rigid routines that you have to follow.
Yeah.
How did you find all this?
I think the beauty of the kind of work that I'm doing, and it isn't just me, but the way that Ayurveda is now being integrated into everyday life is different. And the reason that it is possible to integrate it into everyday life is because it isn't that rigid. It really comes back to what you said in the introduction about understanding nature, how nature works, and if you understand how nature works and how our bodies are, everything that happens in our body is synchronized to that,
The rhythm.
you can make small adjustments. It doesn't have to be rigid.
Major.
It doesn't have to be major. It doesn't have to be rigid. We don't have to be hard on ourselves. Life isn't easy, but there are so many ways that you can incorporate the principles of Ayurveda. Once you understand your body's own relationship to nature, the fact that it is aligned with nature. It is nature, you know. I think we forget, don't we? We look out of the window and we think that's nature. We forget that we are nature.
Okay.
So all you really need to do is align your body clock, realign your body clock with nature's clock, and the rest will follow. So it really doesn't have to be rigid at all. Certainly the way I work and the way I coach and the way I live, I wouldn't say it was rigid. Yeah.
Okay, my bad, maybe. You know, I was just echoing for at least that percentage of population.
Yes.
Who would
No, I
find it,
understand,
yes.
and that is not the first time. I think that is definitely the perception.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it's definitely is the perception.
Yeah.
But there are, from my experience, if you take, for example, dinacharya, the daily lifestyle habits of Ayurveda, they can be quite easily incorporated into daily life. Easier for some people than others, maybe, depending on where you start. We all start.
I think that's with every system, right? It depends and varies from person to person.
Yeah.
What are you as a profession? As in a profession, what do you do? And of course, you said you went to an ashram, but what took you to the ashram? Yoga?
It was yoga.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. I qualified as a yoga teacher age 46 a few years ago, and it was after that I did my first certification in Ayurveda. I trained with a lady in the States after my foundation course in India. I'm so glad that I started my journey in India, because I have the East and the Western perspective on Ayurveda now, and I think it's really important. So following that foundational training that I did in India, I came back to Bahrain ready to try to share all this amazing information that I had learned, all this wonderful intellectual knowledge. I couldn't figure out how to do it, how I was going to take that and share that with the people that I was teaching yoga to. So I then went on to do a further 2-year training with a lady in the States, and at the end of that I was certified as a health coach, but also I had a system which I could share that helped me to help other people integrate those principles into modern daily life. And so that's what I do. I'm a coach. I would say I was a health coach with a bit of a difference, because I'm working with the principles of Ayurveda, the principles of yoga, the practice of yoga, as well as modern science, and it all blends together so beautifully.
That's beautiful. How long have you been in Bahrain?
12 years.
Okay.
Yes.
When you said you came back to Bahrain, you mean from India
From
and from
India,
the States?
yes.
Okay.
I go backwards and forwards between here and India as often as I can. Kerala feels like, I always say I have 3 homes: the UK, which is where I'm from, Bahrain, and Kerala.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any specific place that you go to in Kerala?
I go where my teachers are, and they are all associated with the Shivagiri ashram in Varkala, and the ashrams which are associated with that. So generally around the Varkala, Kovalam kind of area, Trivandrum kind of area. Yeah.
Do you speak Malayalam?
No, I wish I did. It's a very familiar sounding language to me, but no, I don't.
It's beautiful to have you with us, especially someone who knows Kerala, who's been to Kerala.
Yes,
I'm sure we're very happy. And tell me about the Bahrain scenario, Tracy. And of course, Ayurveda has been very popular in Bahrain, at least in the last 1 decade. It has really gained momentum, isn't it?
Yes.
And the National Health Regulatory Authority has authorized it or licensed it as an alternative medicine practice as well. How do you see the growth of Ayurveda in Bahrain?
I think it's wonderful. I see it as complementary. I don't see it as alternative. I see it as complementary. Oh, no, it's just, I think the problem with the label alternative is that people may perceive it as maybe not as a scientific or as good as Western medicine, for example. And there seems to be a kind of a label attached to the word alternative.
I think I must stand corrected.
Do you know
there.
what I mean?
think it's complementary
So
medicine.
to me, it's complementary. Of course, we need the advances of modern science and Western medicine, and Ayurveda works perfectly with it from the prevention and the lifestyle side, especially, but also, of course, through medicines and treatments. I think we're so lucky in Bahrain. I think the reason it is so popular and loved in Bahrain is because it's so accessible. There's so many incredible doctors, clinics,
so many centers.
Yes. We have access to really high quality Ayurvedic medicines, therapists and treatments. And I think also, there is a tradition in Bahrain, especially with Bahrainis. Nature is in the blood. They have that very strong connection to nature. And of course, they have their own culture, their own systems of natural medicine. So it's no surprise to me. I'm delighted. And I feel very lucky to have been here and to be able to access all of that.
And I think also the regional positioning of Bahrain is also, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So the EC axis. Do you see the other GCC citizens or people coming in?
I know, of course, we have a lot of visitors from Saudi coming
okay.
over to the Ayurvedic clinics here. Yes, but I see mostly from this region, Saudi Arabia and Bahrain.
Bahrain.
Yes, I would imagine, it's a long time since I've been in Dubai, but I would imagine there would be quite a proliferation of clinics and hospitals and doctors there as well. As you said, we're so close to India. Yeah.
And, with the Ayurveda style of dieting or living, there is this certain time in the year that you do certain treatments, isn't it?
Yes.
The wellness treatment, if I'm right?
Yes, the Panchakarma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you assist people with all those things?
No, I am actually trained. I am trained in that, but to be honest, I would rather leave it to the experts and refer them to the clinics and the different clinics and hospitals, the doctors. So for the most part, what I do is help people with the lifestyle element, living in, as I said before, kind of retuning your body into the natural rhythms of nature. And it's very surprising. I've worked with ladies recovering from serious illness. I work with a lot of ladies that have different kinds of autoimmune disease, and it's really surprising what you can do before you even start with medicine and go down the treatment route by just making some of those lifestyle changes. It's amazing. Yeah.
And I remember attending to your talk at the World Ayurveda Day or International Ayurveda Day. You gave some brilliant tips.
Oh, thank you.
I'm sure you remember it, right?
Yes, yeah.
Can you share with those simple tips with our viewers?
Well, the theme of that talk on World Ayurveda Day was nutrition. So I've talked a lot about nutrition. I think the biggest tip that I can give is eat seasonal.
Sorry to cut you. I love the grandma's rule. Why don't you say that for us again?
Well, thank you. I always, I'm aware that I'm kind of out of place in this industry, particularly in this part of the world. Ayurveda is really big and growing in popularity in the States, for example.
Okay.
There are a lot of quite famous doctors and practitioners coming through in the States, not so much in the UK. But I know in this part of the world, I am a bit of an outsider, and I do find myself speaking to Indian women about Ayurveda quite often. And I always have to make a point that, I realize this is a bit strange. But I often find when I start to share tips, like the ones I'll share with you now, women will say to me, "Oh, well, my grandma used to do that, or my grandma used to make me do that when I was a kid, and I didn't know that was Ayurveda." And so I love to say, well, grandma was right. Listen to grandma. She knew what she was talking about, because this is what I would call grandma's Ayurveda,
What would be some of those beautiful tips that you would share?
I think for me, it would be observe the changes in the seasons, change what you eat. I think Indian cuisine, it's a science. Indian food to me is a science, and that is I see that happening naturally. You know, mums and grandmas and householders, they know to add certain things in the winter and to add certain things in the summer and to add certain things in the spring. So I would say observe the season changes and make sure you're making your seasonal changes to your food.
Right, yeah.
And, you know, working with the principle, the most basic principle of Ayurveda is to balance things out with opposites. If something has gone out of balance, bring it back to balance with the opposite. So if it's summertime, eat cooling foods. If it's wintertime, eat nourishing, grounding, lubricating foods. Very simple, really. It's like, you know, if you're in a cold room and you put on a cardigan, that's Ayurveda.
Okay.
You're just balancing out, you know, balancing out the opposite. So observing the seasons, making seasonal changes to your food, cleansing seasonally, as you mentioned before. Just aiding your body in its natural inclination to detox at certain times of year. So include cleansing foods in your diet at those times of the year. Eat for optimal digestion. So one of the tips that I gave, and I know it doesn't sit well with a lot of people because culturally we've kind of moved away from eating for optimal digestion. And what I mean by that is our digestion is like the sun. It's very cool in the morning. It's blazing in the middle of the day, and it's cool in the evening, and it's off by 7 o'clock in the evening. It's switched off. And I remember saying before in our talk on World Ayurveda Day, I don't think anyone has a grandma who's eating the heaviest meal of the day at 10 or 11 o'clock midnight, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, we do. And yeah, look at where we are now with diabetes and all these different digestive issues that are endemic in society. So that would be another tip. I would say those are the two most important tips. Observe the changing of the seasons and eat for optimal digestion. Eat for your constitution. Eat for the life stage that you're in as well. Very important.
It's all beautiful to hear, and you just touched upon a very important issue of the lifestyle diseases and the prevalence of diabetes and obesity in Bahrain, which is alarming, especially in the younger generation, the Generation Z. And how do you think these tips how do you see them accepting it or embracing it, especially in a culture that's moving fast, racing towards the fast food generation, you know?
Yeah, it isn't easy. You know, I work with a lot of Bahraini ladies, and of course, again, culturally, when I say to them, eat your big meal in the middle of the day and just have something light in the evening, you know, it's very difficult because there are family obligations and get-togethers, and everybody's eating heavy food and they're eating late. But I always say to them, you know what, just start with yourself and do what you can. So it may start with, first of all, just looking at what's on the table or looking at what's on the menu and thinking, well, okay, I know my digestion is really cool and weak now, and whatever I eat now is going to be difficult to digest. So what's the easiest thing to digest on the menu? Maybe I'll eat vegetarian in the evening. Maybe I'll avoid any kind of non-veg because that's very hard to digest. So maybe I'll skip that and I'll take the vegetarian option. Maybe I'll take the soup. Just do whatever you can. I always say start from where you are. There are going to be times you want to go out and you want to celebrate and you want to enjoy yourself and you don't want to think about what you're eating or is it a good time of day to be eating this or not eating this. So what I would say is just start by educating yourself and start from where you are. Do what you can, and on the times where there's nothing you can do, just go out and enjoy yourself, enjoy your food. I mean, I never talk in any of my work, I never talk about avoiding things or denying ourselves anything at all. I just talk about abundance, adding in more good stuff, putting more plants on your plate, adding in more nutritious and nourishing food. And over time, you find that your palate will change anyway, and it won't want so much sugar, it won't want so much salt, and you will naturally move towards making more intelligent food choices. It isn't easy. It isn't easy, especially if people are busy mums, young people, people who have busy careers and working long hours. It isn't easy, and that's why people like me exist. We know what to do. We know everybody knows what they're supposed to do to be healthy. We all know what we're supposed to do, but we don't always know how to get there, and that's why there are coaches and
Yes.
people like me.
It's interesting. Let's catch up with a little more after a short break, and that is Tracy Burrows with me on Success Statements from BMC Global Life. Welcome back to Success Statements from BMC Global Live, and this evening with me is health coach Tracy Burrows. Tracy, it was beautiful to listen to those tips and really enlightening ones, but you ended in the last segment on the note, it isn't easy. I agree with you. But let's hope that people take the good cues from that. Let me move into the times that we are in, the pandemic. The 2 years that we see, plus the lifestyle diseases. Mm-hmm. And people have been desperate for solutions in terms of wellness, isn't it?
Yes.
How do you see Ayurveda playing a role post-pandemic or during the pandemic? What was your observation, as well as the lifestyle diseases? Do you find Ayurveda a solution for the situations like diabetes?
Definitely. I think one of the things I love most that attracted me to Ayurveda in particular was that it has all the branches that Western medicine has. General medicine, ophthalmology, surgery, pediatrics, psychiatry. I even believe the first ever plastic surgery was done by an Ayurvedic surgeon thousands of years ago. It has everything that Western medicine has. But one thing it has that Western medicine doesn't have is a branch which is focused purely on prevention.
Okay.
And that's the thing that really attracted me to it, because I feel like, we're living in a world now where we do have to take more responsibility for our own health. We need to be more educated on what it is that makes us thrive, what throws us off balance, how to bring ourselves back into balance. And I think now more than ever, this is so important. As I said, I think the pandemic has made us all realise that we do have to take more responsibility for our health. I think we're so lucky to have especially in the West, this amazing, well, all over the world, this amazing allopathic medicinal system where something's wrong and you go and they help you. And now because of the pandemic, hospitals are, they're overloaded, medical staff are overloaded. And so now what do we do when we need help? And so, as I said, I think it's become even more important than it ever was before for us to take our health into our own hands and work on prevention. And if we do need medicine, if we do need treatment, the hospitals, the doctors, the facilities, the Ayurvedic facilities are all there. But it has to start with prevention. So obviously, with the pandemic, I don't think the pandemic discriminates. I feel like there are things we can do. I had COVID myself, and I live a very healthy lifestyle. I practice yoga, I meditate, I do everything that I recommend other people do. I still succumbed to it myself. So, but I do believe that there are things that we can do. When it comes to the prevention side, the lifestyle changes that I talked about, or the Ayurvedic lifestyle of implementing the principles of Ayurveda, the Dinacharya, all come down to, as I said, seasonal eating, for example, will boost your immune system. Looking after your digestion, the gut of your health, your microbiome, that kind of inner universe of your digestion in your stomach, is all linked to immune system. The health of your hormonal system is linked to your immune system. Everything is connected. And this is the beautiful thing about Ayurveda, is that it recognizes that everything is connected. And again, in other systems of medicine, you might go to a specialist for heart, or a specialist for blood, or a specialist for this and the other. But Ayurveda, of course, has those specialists, but it recognizes that it's all connected, and it gets down to the root cause. And so many of those practices, making sure that you're sleeping for optimal rest and rejuvenation and repair and detoxification, all of these things happen when you're asleep. Ayurveda has guidelines on all of those things, and again, these are things which help to strengthen your immune system. So the whole lifestyle itself, getting outside, being outdoors, not just so that we stay young for longer, but also, as we know, vitamin D is also good for the immune system. So there is so much in the lifestyle. It's very simple things that you can do that will actually strengthen your immune system. And then, if you are unlucky enough to succumb, as I was, there is so much you can do to help you to really take care of your system while it's kind of under attack, I guess, isn't it, from the virus. There are so many things you can do to help your body. So the biggest things, and I'm so glad I had that knowledge when my time came. My symptoms were not bad, and I recovered quickly. I think probably about 3 days after I came out of isolation, I was making a video which went quite far and wide in media on how to use Ayurvedic principles to help you if you did succumb to the virus. So for me, it was, of course, the medicine. The first thing I did was message my doctor at Kotakal Clinic here in Bahrain and said, what do I need? And a friend went down straight away and collected the medicines. I looked at the different kinds of drinks and potions that I could make to help strengthen my immune system. I know that, for example, digesting food uses up a lot of energy. You know, this is why we get tired if we eat a big meal and we feel tired afterwards, because the body's pushing all its energy into that one thing. I knew that my energy was needed for fighting the virus and strengthening my immune response. So I made sure, I think I ate khichdi for about 3 days. It was really boring. But I know that my khichdi is really boring. I have friends who make very nice khichdi, but mine's very boring. It's more of an Ayurvedic kind of recipe. But you know, I knew that it was very easy to digest, and so that my body was going to have extra energy. spare to send out to helping fight the virus. So that kind of understanding, going back to what I said about understanding how your body works and how energy is used in the body. So yes, the medicines, the different potions and things that I would be boiling up and drinking 3 times a day, steaming, gargling, the kind of food that I was eating, making sure I was resting, but also making sure that I got plenty of sunlight, just sitting in the garden in the sun. I was very lucky. It was October, so the weather was good. So there is a lot, and I think the medicines were extremely helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
You seem to be doing a lot of research into this, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is the latest that you're working on? Is there anything specific that you are?
Right now, I'm working with women in the kind of midlife stage, which is where I am.
The menopause.
Yes, and beyond the menopause and postmenopause. And again, it kind of happened by accident. I realized that as I had begun my Ayurvedic training and my health coaching training, and I had started to apply all these principles to myself, I started to notice that the women around me were suffering more than I was. Women of the same age in the menopause were struggling with way more than I was. And so I started to think, okay, what's going on? What's going on here? Why, of course, everybody's different. We all experience this stage of life, this transition differently. But I realized that I was having an easier time than other people. So I started to look into, well, why, what's the connection between our hormonal health and these practices? And it turns out, again, everything's connected. Our hormonal health is connected, for example, to the health of our liver. And through my Ayurvedic lifestyle, I was doing a lot, and that was in support of my liver. I discovered that our hormone health depends on us getting enough rest and good sleep, but not only good sleep, which can be hard to come by at this life stage, but sleep at the right time. Sleep between certain hours, knowing that, for example, one of the things that happens while we're asleep is that our hormones rebalance. So you miss the boat if you're not going to bed till midnight or 11 o'clock in the evening. There's a time where all of these things happen internally. The body clock, these things are all happening at different times throughout the night, throughout the day. And it's that understanding of when these things are happening and what you need to do to support that. Again, that I got from Ayurveda. So I thought women need to know this because I was my own experiment. It worked for me. Then I started to go into the research much more deeply and realize the reasons why it worked. There were scientific reasons why all of that worked. And I think one of the main reasons that I have been successful in that is because it has only been recently that conventional hormone replacement therapies have been available in Bahrain. When I first went into that transition, it wasn't available. If I wanted to get it, I would have had to get it from the UK, and there were supply issues. Even in the UK, there were supply issues, and so there was no alternative at that stage. And so it had to work. I had to make it work, and I did make it work. And so right now, that's my passion, is helping other ladies to make that work through those lifestyle changes. Because when it comes to an end, you still have your body and you still have your brain, and you want to age healthily. We want to kind of come through that transition, which isn't easy. You want to come through that transition and live. I always say, you want to die young as late as possible. You want to be healthy. You want to be able to enjoy life, and so there are risks. We are more at risk as women from certain conditions and diseases, post-menopause, things that we have to take care of. And this lifestyle does that. It helps you to take care of them. So this is my big passion at the moment.
How do you reach out, or how do you network? So if anybody wants these tips, where do they reach out to you?
In person and online.
Okay.
During COVID, I basically took my work online, and I created a system. The result of my 2-year coaching with the lady in the US was that when I finished, I had a system, a very simple approach to systematically introduce these different lifestyle changes. Not everything at once. It was like a 10-week program that people would join, and I would coach them through week on week. And it started in person here in Bahrain with small groups of women, and then the pandemic happened, and I was forced to take it online. I didn't want to stop, so I put it online, and then started to be able to coach women from all over the world, which was amazing. And so it's still online, actually. I still coach it online because I'm able to reach more women. But I do also coach in person here in Bahrain, and I recently started an initiative called Menopause Cafe.
Oh, okay.
Which is it's just as simple as it sounds. We meet in a cafe somewhere in Bahrain. The cake is not optional. There must be cake. There must be coffee.
Okay.
And ladies come, and we just sit and we meet and we chat about everything that we're experiencing, all the highs, the lows, the problems, what we've tried that's worked for us.
Weekly ones or monthly?
It's monthly. It happens monthly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
so it's open to anyone?
It's open to anybody that wants to come and talk. There's no agenda. To me, this isn't part of my work. I don't go there and coach or try and influence anyone towards any kind of action or way of thinking. It's just a way to bring women together and talk, because we're not talking about it. We should be talking about it. Yeah.
Beautiful, Tracy. We must go forward with the talk, and interestingly, this topic can never end because it's wide. There are many things, and I think 1 hour is too less a time to discuss this. But I'm sure people can reach out to Tracy Burrows online.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Are you on Instagram?
Yes, I'm on Instagram and on Facebook.
On Facebook.
Yes.
So those of who are joining us this evening with Tracy Burrows on Success Statements, you can follow her for all these wonderful tips, the Ayurveda-based tips, the healthy way of living. Let's take a short break.
With our stunning collection of fine jewelry, gemstones, pearls and diamonds, fine pieces in timeless designs and unspoken elegance. Al Siraj Jewelry. Our story, our pride.
Welcome back, and with me this evening on Success Statements from BMC Global Life, it is Tracy Burrows. Tracy, tell us about your family.
My family?
Yes. I know you're from the UK.
Yes.
Where in UK?
Yeah. From the middle.
Okay.
Exactly the middle. If you put a pin in the middle of the UK on the map, that's where I come from.
And what is the place
It's called the Midlands.
Okay.
A county called Staffordshire,
Okay.
which is, I think the largest city that people might recognise the name of is Birmingham. So
Birmingham, okay.
About 30 kilometres from Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
my dad's family originally come from Ireland, and like many Irish people, made their way over to Birmingham. And so I grew up in the Midlands, and my mum's family is English. My mum and dad are there in the UK. My brother and my sister are there. My husband and I are here. We are each other's family here in Bahrain, and his family are also in the UK, but on a very small island. In fact, an island exactly the same size as Bahrain, called the Isle of Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. What brought you to Bahrain?
My husband's work.
Okay.
I think we're called trailing spouses.
All right.
We moved to Dubai originally in 1997 when Dubai was a very different place. And he had been hired by a retail company over there in Bahrain, in Dubai, sorry. We stayed there for around 13 years, and then we came here, like many people, thinking, with the same company, thinking it was a short contract and we'd be going back. When the time came to go back, we said, no, please, can we stay? We loved it. We love it here so much. And I feel like we were in Dubai in our 30s and our 40s. We're in Bahrain in our late 40s and 50s. And I think we're in the right place at the right time, energetically, you know?
Trust me, you're not the first one to tell me this.
Yeah.
You know, anyone who's here has been here for decades.
Yes. Yeah. I think the first people I met when I moved here had been here for 30 years. And I remember thinking, how can you be here for 30 years? There's nothing to do. But once Bahrain gets into your blood, doesn't it? And once you've been here, you realize it's such an amazing way of living that you don't want to. Nobody ever wants to leave. You don't want to live anywhere else. So, yeah, very happy to be here.
Right. Tell me a little more about you, the person. Other than Ayurveda and yoga, what are your other interests, hobbies?
I don't have any.
You don't have any?
No, I do. But I realized when I think about it, my work is my passion. That really is my passion. Working isn't my passion, but what I do for my work is really my passion. So everything that I'm passionate about, my hobbies, are all somehow related to health and wellness. And one of the things that I really love about being in Bahrain is that I've had opportunities to do things that I don't think I would have had anywhere else. So I joined a dragon boat racing team.
Okay.
I took Bollywood dancing lessons. I don't know whether I would have done these things at home in Birmingham, you know. So I love to be outdoors. I love animals. I love to be in the kitchen. I wouldn't say I was a good cook, but I do like to be in the kitchen. I like to experiment. I like to cook vegan food. Not that I am vegan, but I think it's a really creative way of cooking and eating. So I like to experiment with that. I like to try and cook Indian food. I'm very unsuccessful, but I give it a go. So I love experimenting with different cuisines and types of food, and just generally anything to do with health and wellness. As I said, I love to be outdoors. I love cycling. Love to be in nature.
I must have missed this question in the earlier segments. Is Ayurveda is it all about being a vegetarian?
No. It's about eating what your body needs, again, according to your life stage, according to what's happening with you at the time, any kind of disease or imbalance. And so, for example, somebody who was recovering from illness that needed to rebuild might be, it sounds funny to say prescribed, but the doctor might recommend them to maybe have some bone broth or maybe have some really good quality meat. Of course, dairy is dairy is used a lot in Ayurveda. I think it was easier in the old days to get good quality dairy products. You have to try a little bit harder now. I know that when I go to the ashram, we have some very pampered cows living there. They're beautiful and very happy. So, yes, if it's something that your body needs, then yes, it would be.
Are you a vegetarian?
No.
No. Okay.
No, but I only eat meat and fish when I feel like I need it. So I don't eat it daily. I wouldn't say I eat it regularly, but there are times of year or times where I can feel I need it. And when I need it, I'll have it. As I said, I don't believe in denying ourselves anything, really. It's just about what you add in, isn't it? It's about adding in all the really good stuff.
Right. It's that part of the year and the beautiful season that we are coming to the close of one more. I would look at 2021 brighter than 2020, isn't it? brighter
I
year
think
than
so.
2020.
Yeah.
And we look forward to a beautiful 2022.
Yes.
And health has taken the center stage these 2 years. And you, of course, it matters because you are a person into lifestyle and healthy living. What will be your goal or vision for 2022? Sorry, yeah, 2022.
I think my personal goal will be to try to reach more people and just spread this message of how important it is to take responsibility, take your health into your own hands, educate yourself, and get to know yourself really well and get to understand, again, a beautiful principle from Ayurveda. Some people thrive in the summer and have to work a little bit harder on their self-care and nourishment in winter. Some people thrive in winter and struggle in the summer. So get to know yourself and get to know what makes you thrive and find out how to include more of that in your life.
Can I have your final comments, please? We are very grateful, Team BMC. We are very happy, and I'm sure the viewers too are, for those wonderful tips and being generous to share with us, as well as to learn more about Tracy Burrows, the person. Your final remarks, please.
I would just like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I think this is one of the ways that we can get the message out there to people to do what they need to do. To, as I said, I think that was my final message really, I guess, is to get to know yourself, get to know what makes you thrive. What's good for one person isn't necessarily good for you. And just because they say this is good for you doesn't mean it's good for everybody. So find out what's good for you. And, if you're really looking, you want to feel better in 22, if you're really looking to take control of your wealth, your health and your well-being, and you don't know how to do it, find somebody that does.
When life resonates nature's rhythm, we thrive. That was the message from yoga and wellness coach Tracy Burrows, who was with us this evening on Success Statements from BMC Global Live. Until we meet next week with yet another guest, this is Rajiv Unikrishnan signing off. Good night. Tracy, thank you so much for this beautiful evening. And from Team BMC, we have a small memento for you. I would now request Media and Admin Head Praveen Krishna to give the memento on behalf of Chairman Francis Kaidarat, who is away on vacation.
With our stunning collection of fine jewelry, gemstones, pearls and diamonds, Fine pieces in timeless designs and unspoken elegance. Al Siraj Jewelry. Our story, our pride.
വിഷമിക്കണ്ട, എല്ലാം ശരിയാവും.
ലുലു മണി സ്നേഹപൂർവ്വം.
The exclusive franchisee of Cochin Kala Bhavan in Bahrain, with over a decade of existence in Bahrain. Exclusive online regular classes have started for classical dances, music vocal, instrumental music, cinematic dance, Kathak, Zumba body fitness, karate and yoga, drawing, arts and craft, children's theatre. For more information, please call 39096845, 39094806, 38852397, or visit www.bahrainmediacity.com. Since 2006, Magnum Imprint have been offering high standards of quality with our professional team that delivers all your advertising and promotional requirements efficiently and promptly. For more details, please contact 39887088 or 33856330 or 33542530.